Paul, are you really going to be hiding behind my face that whole time?
Oh, are you down below? Where are you? Should I go up here? How's this?
There you go. That looks good.
Is that good? All right. See, I have the PowerPoint up now, so you're going to have to watch chat and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, let's get to it, guys. I don't know the Smoking Apes longest slideshow or presentation, but this is 29 slides, so we'll see. Let's see how it goes. So this is my node number. I'm not connected to it right now. We're going to connect to it later, but that is my node number. If you have Wires-X and know how to use it, if you've got your own node and you'll understand what I'm saying now, and then I'll explain later. If you've got your own node and you got the software, you'll know how to scroll down and you can find K5VOP or this node number, and you can connect. Add it to your favorites. I want it to be an open room. It's an open room, so that people can use that to go in and talk anytime they want without worrying about if they're bothering somebody's repeater or anything else. This is a node that's not connected to a repeater. And however many rooms want to join can join, and nodes can join and talk to each other. So this is a room, and we'll go into this later. I'll explain it, that multiple nodes can join and just talk. So feel free to use this anytime you want. It's up 24/7. I try to monitor it to make sure it doesn't ever go down. Sometimes I have to reboot the computer because the stupid Windows updates. Okay, let's do it. What is Wires-X? Wires-X, it stands for Wide Coverage Internet Repeater Enhancement System. It's an internet-based internet communication system developed by Yaesu that extends the range of amateur radio communication. It allows amateur radio operators to connect to and communicate with other users via the internet using their local C4FM digital or analog transceivers. Now, I want to reiterate right here at the very top. It is an internet communication system. So if the internet is down, this is not a system for emergencies. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Although it has been used in emergencies.
It can be, but it depends on, if you're able to hit repeaters and all that.
So let me give you just a quick example. We have a system in Texas that a lot of people get on. It's called the Texas Nexus. And it basically connects all the way up from Denton County down to Austin and then down through Houston. Hurricane Harvey had a lot of supplies going down there for that event with all the flooding that we had. That's the first time I've really seen it used because it was rather new at the time, but everybody was coordinating logistics of getting stuff down there, water, food, tents, all kinds of supplies. So it can be used, but like Paul said, the repeater sites or wherever you're at, the connection sites all have to be hooked to the internet. So
moving windows so I can see chat. I'll try to look at chat too, but just I'll rely on you.
I'm checking some stuff we'll go over a little bit later.
Okay. So I also want to mention three things. There's Wires-X, there's C4FM, and there's Fusion. A lot of people have these things confused. They are not all one and the same thing. Yaesu, they don't make the best menus, but they're not so stupid that they would make three words mean one thing. So we're going to go over each one of those. So Wires-X is that system that links radios, analog and digital, via internet. Okay. So then the next thing was C4FM. What is C4FM? That's a continuous 4-level frequency modulation. It is a digital modulation mode, specifically Yaesu's implementation called System Fusion, used for voice and data transmission. It utilizes a custom but open C4FM FDMA standard, and C4FM is a type of 4FSK, 4-level frequency shift keying. If you're familiar with HF digital modes, frequency shift keying, PSK, those kind of things. So it's another digital mode Yaesu has created. That's C4FM. So if you're saying, I'm going to talk digitally on Wires-X, you're using C4FM digital mode. Okay. Now I mentioned the third word in here, and it's called Fusion, System Fusion. People think Wires-X is Fusion. Okay, it's not. It's part of it. So what is Yaesu's System Fusion? It is a digital amateur radio system developed by Yaesu utilizing the C4FM that we talked about, modulation for voice and data transmission. It's designed for amateur radio use, offering both digital and analog FM modes, and includes features like automatic mode select, which the repeaters can do if you set it that way, for seamless switching between modes. System Fusion also integrates with Yaesu's Wires-X system, which allows for wide area network repeaters. If you have a Yaesu System Fusion / Wires-X repeater, the DR2 or the DR1, and set it to AMS, people can connect both digitally and analog and communicate with each other. Think of it that way. That's System Fusion. It's fusing not just the Wires-X network, it's fusing analog and digital. So try to keep those three things in mind. They are separate. They each have a function as the greater part of the whole Wires-X system. So this is the Wires-X system. What we've got here, the internet in the middle, like I said, this is based through the internet. It functions with internet. Now, if you're just using a repeater and you're talking to other people who can hit that repeater, then you don't need the internet. You're just using a repeater, digital and or analog. But if you want to get outside of that, and we'll go into some examples later, it requires the internet. So if you look here, we've got 4 stations. Look at these homes as stations. They can be home stations or personal data nodes, PDN nodes, or
Welcome, Digital Rancher.
Hey, Robert, good to see you. Or we could look at these little homes with the antenna as a repeater site. Okay. So this is a Wires-X digital node station at someone's house. They've set it up as an access point, which means a hotspot, basically. So what this person can do is he can use his radio around his house within range of his little digital node access point, and he can get on through his node, through the internet, to a repeater or anyone else in the Wires-X system. Okay, so this shows the same basic thing, but he's using an HT. This is what I do at my house. I have my local node as an access point. It's not connected to a repeater. It's using a radio, an FTM 400, and then I walk around the house, or I have my FT2 sitting here, and I can talk to my node, and I can access anyone, anywhere that's connected to the Wires-X system. Same thing up here in the top right, and in the bottom right, you see this is someone analog, and he's got an analog station set up. He's connected into most likely a repeater that has AMS mode or a digitally linked analog repeater. And there are other ways to do this with Pis and Raspberry Pis. I'm not going to get into all that. I don't understand how it all works anyway. So this is basically how it works. All right. You got all these different examples connecting to each other through the internet, which is this whole system is called the Wires-X system. So what device do we need to do this? Now, this may not be a full list. You can always go to Yaesu and they will show you what ones are compatible. I've noticed D, if a radio has a D in it, it's most likely capable of doing a portable digital node. So you've got the basics, the 5, the 3, 2D, 1D, excuse me, the FT70D, the 500, the 510, the 400, the 400D, the 300, the 200, the 100, and the FT991A, which is an HF/VHF UHF radio. D refers to the digital capability of the radio. Analog radios can access Wires-X, as I mentioned in the previous slide, in analog mode, and I'll explain how to do that later. And another device that you might need is an HRI 200, and we'll go over that. For transceivers, for a C4FM digital node, you need a C4FM digital transceiver with a 10-pin mini DIN jack in the back. For an FM analog node, you need a C4M digital transceiver with a 10-pin mini jack or FM analog transceiver with a 6-pin DIN jack. And you need this because those are the cables they will supply to be able to access either digital or analog. Now, this is mobile. Okay, so let's go over, I'll go over mobile and HT, but this is mobile. With the HTs, digital connection is just the USB cable that it comes with, the programming cable. So what was that HR 200 I mentioned? The HRI 200 is a box that you connect a radio to, and you connect it to your internet, and you don't just get a node, you get a room. And I'll go over what that means in a bit. There's a difference between node and room, and we'll talk about that shortly. So do you need the HRI to access Wires-X or have a personal node? No. Can you guys read that? No, you do not need to spend the $130 on the HRI 200 to have a node.
You
But
used to have to.
yeah, until they came out with the PDN, the personal digital node stuff. But this is the difference. Node versus room. A node is essentially a gateway that connects amateur radio transceivers to the internet and allows access to Wires-X communication. A room, on the other hand, is a virtual space with the Wires-X network where multiple nodes can connect and communicate with each other. So, a room is always a node, but a node is not always a room. Everyone that sends in and registers to get their radio on a node is a node. Whether it's an HT or a mobile, it doesn't matter. That's a node. Every single computer or every single radio setup that can connect to the Wires-X system, that is a node. Some of those are individual. Some of those are rooms. A room is where people can join and talk, like Michael was talking about the Texas Nexus, and I'll bring that sheet up here in just a minute. So remember, a node is any of the radio computer combinations that connect to Wires-X is a node. A room requires the HRI 200 box, and that is where multiple nodes can connect for one group conversation in one area. So let me show you the differences. This is what I have in the garage, and those are just those little micro PCs or mini PCs. I don't know, $100 and something. So the one on the left, as you can see, has the Wires-X HRI 200 box on top. That is my node/room. The one on the right, you notice there's no HRI 200. That is I think it's a 200. Is that a Yaesu 200 or 300? I forget. 200. That's a Yaesu 200 connected to the PC with the USB cable because it's digital only on our repeater. That radio goes to a 70 centimeter Yagi in my attic, and it points to our club digital Wires-X repeater. So anyone in the area that can reach that repeater talks, and it goes through this radio, and they can move that node to access any other nodes or rooms within the Wires-X system. And Michael mentioned Texas Nexus. We tend to put it on Texas Nexus quite a bit. It's a group of Texas nodes all linked together. So that's your difference right there. The one on the left with the HRI 200 is a node/room, provides you a room. The one on the right is connected to a repeater and is not a room, but it is a node that you can move and access and connect to any other nodes or rooms. Now let's get to Texas Nexus. So this is the software that you have when you have a node. So on the top, you'll see you've got your favorites. Those, what are the 5 or 6 I've got there? Those are my favorites. You'll see Texas Nexus, American Link, Red Cross, the Wolf Den, Idaho Command, My 2. The first one you see there, I hope it's not too small. The first one says K5VLP stream, and the icon is really small, but that means it's a room. The second one says K5VLP-QTH, and that is this one right here. That's my FT5 plugged directly into my computer. It's just a node. So the one you would connect to talk to other people would be the K5VLP stream room. But as you can see, I've connected to the Texas Nexus node/room. They've got a room with an HRI 200 that people can connect to, and you can see all the call signs there. Some of them have them labeled repeater. And then if you look at the bottom, on the right, far right column of the bottom, you'll see K5VLP-ND4. That's my node 4. I've got 4 nodes registered. So that's this FT5. That's this node connected there as well. Okay. But that's a room. So anybody that's connected through those nodes, some of those could be rooms, some of those could be repeaters. Is K5LRK on there? Or W5NGU? I don't see it. No. So what we do a lot of times,
my desk.
Yeah, it's hard for me to even see it. Oh, I see W5NGU. So at the top row, second from the right, W5NGU. That's the Denton Club digital Wires-X repeater, and they're connected to Texas Nexus. So anybody that can reach that repeater can talk to anybody that can reach or is connected in that room right there. All those call signs. Some of those, many of those are repeaters. I see a VE as well. I'm wondering whose that is. VE6 something. I don't know who that is. All right. So now let's go to my room. Nobody's there. Okay. So the K5VOP-HRI, that is the room that this room itself. Okay. And then I connected with that FT5 node right here. So if someone else connected to this 40503, their call sign would be right here of their node, and we could communicate in this room together, even if you live, cross country. And that's the advantage of a room, is multiple people can come into the room and talk, as opposed to you just going into a room and talking to other people on other nodes. If you have your own room, it's your room. You can invite people to come talk. It could be whatever you want. So that's what the Prep Paul room would look like. And let me.
Is that a screenshot or is that live right now?
No, that's a screenshot.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do now is I got to do this. What we're going to do is now to put it in Wires-X mode, PDN mode, it takes a certain two buttons and powering on your radio. I'm not going to go through all of them because literally they're all different. So on this one, to put it in Wires-X mode, I have to hold the menu and DX buttons down and power it up. And you'll see Wires-X. You see that? Is that legible on the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so Wires-X.
But it's backwards.
Okay, that's fine. Now what we're going to do is let's go up to here, and we're going to start the you've got this downloaded already, and we're going to start the application. Oh, it's probably going to put it on the other screen. Oh no, it's going. Put it on the opposite. Why does everything come back to this monitor? Okay, here. So this is the interface. This is the software. Now, what it's got to do, if it's not been on, is it's got to go to the internet. It's accessing the servers, the Yaesu servers of all the online nodes, and it's populating them. This can take some time. That's why it's good to put favorites in. So there, the first favorite there, that's our local club repeater. This second box here, so this is the local club repeater. This box right here this is the nodes or individuals. These aren't rooms. These are nodes. Down here are all the rooms. And you'll have to look at the PDF, which I think I put in the link, towards the bottom of the PDF guide on Wires-X. It'll give you all the icon meanings, all these little icons here. So anytime you see the little house, that's a room. And something like this is a digital room. I don't know what the C is, but this is All-Star. So someone's got All-Star linked and they're able to cross-link the different modes. There's quite a few people out there that do that.
We are getting questions, but we're going to hold the questions till a little bit later. I got them all pinned for you. So,
all right. So now I'm on my personal node. I'm not in my room because I don't have a room, right? It's just my HT and a USB cable. If I want to go to Texas Nexus, I right-click and click Connect. Of course, it's on the other screen. And then it pops this up. You can put a QSL card if you have a room, your own little QSL card. And now I'm connected and can talk to all the people that are connected to all these repeaters and nodes. That's how simple it is if you use digital only and just have the USB cable. All right. I just wanted to show you real quick how that works. It's that simple to connect. Let me go back to the slide. Got to do that manually. Okay, let's get back to the slide. Let's go ahead and pause for a second, and we'll take some questions, Michael.
okay.
You want to pull the questions up?
All right. So this is not a question. This is what we were talking about earlier, but might as well talk about it. On the Pummy, if it's a tight fit, you can grind it out on the lip inside the coupling, then clean double the normal amount of pipe on one side. drop a ton of blue glue to that joint so it doesn't dry fast.
Oh, yeah. The drying
And
fast is the hard part.
slide the coupling on the double-sided clean side and then slide it back onto the other pipe. Got to do it quick. Keep a sharpshooter nearby to leverage on the pipe. So there you go.
Yeah, I tried the quick slip, and it got mostly that stuff. It dries so quick. The regular cement.
But
it did have a little drip. I didn't underneath. I must not have gotten some glue there because I couldn't twist it or anything either. They say twist it so the glue spreads.
So digital
Okay.
talks to digital, or can digital talk to analog as well? I have never talked digital analog on Wires-X. I
Okay.
think most stations are digital to digital, but I looked it up and it says it can.
Yes, it can. I'm going to just throw a number out there. 90% of the people on Wires-X are digital. It's simpler. If you're creating a node, there's one cable as opposed to 3 or 4. And there's no real, even with their AMS system, the automatic mode switching system, which the repeaters can do, it'll switch between analog and digital. It's just not quite as smooth, but yes, it can work. You'll notice when you go onto your, you go in your radio and you hit the mode button, you'll see how it has DN there in the top right up here, the DN. So this is just digital mode, right?
Digital narrow. That's what it means.
Now, if I hit, oh, you know what? I can't do it because I'm in a mode. So you'll notice if you hit mode enough, you'll get a DN with a line on top of it. That's the AMS mode. So that will actually talk to people, whether they're digital or analog, when you're talking to them. So you can do it on your radio, and then repeaters have that mode as well. Those are the only two that I know for sure. There may be other ways, but I don't know them. I know people can link All-Star and all these other modes together, but I don't know how it works.
Are we going to discuss AMS in your presentation? If not, I have something to discuss.
Not really,
so
because most don't use it.
So on repeaters, on my personal devices, I may have AMS on, but as far as especially if I'm scanning, if I'm out of town somewhere and I'm scanning, just trying to pick up something, I'll have AMS mode on. It makes total sense. It's automatic mode switching. But repeaters in small towns may use AMS. Here in the Metroplex, that's not a good idea because we have a lot of people on there. And what happens is when people are commuting, they're not looking at the display of the radio the whole time. They're going to pick up the mic and say, oh, I'm going to switch over to Lark Fusion. And then they key down and analog. And if our repeater, which was on AMS, but we learned the lesson not to do that, we'll be having a full-blown conversation with somebody on Texas Nexus, let's say, and all of a sudden they get caught off because somebody over here in analog keyed down because they didn't check the display to see if the bar was going, showing that the repeater is in use. Because you're not going to be able to hear each other if you're one mode versus the other. It will not come out on the speaker. So that's why we in the Metroplex, we like to get the mileage distance, and we want to get all the digital stuff you can do. You can send photographs through Wires-X. All of that thing has to be done in the digital domain. So we have locked all of our repeaters down, so we won't have analog signals coming in and kicking people out of the digital. But hey, if we need extra repeaters and we're running out of repeaters, which we're pretty saturated here, we can force it to be analog only. We have that capability with the Fusion repeaters. But AMS, real friends don't let friends AMS on the repeater itself. I'm just going to say that. I just talked to a guy on Echolink. First time I've been on Echolink in probably 5 years today. I have the app on my deal, and someone was telling me, hey, I got an Echolink node out here in Colorado. So I tried it out on my app, and it still works. I thought that was pretty amazing. I didn't use it in 5 years. But they do AMS because they're out in the mountains, but I think most of the people there are all analog. Maybe one or two might have a Fusion radio. So that kind of makes sense out there. Plus, they're cheaper repeaters in your Kenwoods. So, but that's my story in AMS. It's great for your personal devices. Please don't use it on repeaters. If you're going to have a Fusion repeater and you got the frequencies to have it, let that be a Fusion digital only. That way you can take advantage of all of it.
Real quick to EMAC YouTube 2's comment, just because I just saw it as I looked up. I believe there are groups that do that. I haven't been on it for a while, but I know Alabama Link used to link pretty much all modes. I know there's a way. I think this little, I forget what they're called, hi-hat, whatever it is. This does all the modes.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's settings in this thing that says the cross, but I don't play with it enough to know.
It's basically like a crossband radio that has difficult to understand. I'm
assuming it's digitizing and going, between languages. I look at them as different languages, as C4FM and D-Star and all that. But
so, and that leads to our next question here by Jimmy. So, how do others connect? Can they just use Pi-Star or other flavor of hotspot?
I know there are ways. I think that's what this is. So you could use this, whatever it is. Someone in the chat knows. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a Pi-Star, I think, or whatever. It does D-Star, C4FM, DMR, all that. You can use this too. You don't need Yaesu's specific stuff to access it. So those are usable as well.
I'm going to drop a caveat, but go ahead with what you're saying.
No, that's it.
Okay, so I'm going to drop a caveat. Yaesu does not allow third-party items on their network, on their direct network. Now that I've said that, so when you're using the software that Paul has up on the screen there, Yaesu does not allow you to have your own devices to connect to that. What people do is kind of like what you would do for a repeater for an Echo Link or something. They'll have a Yaesu device in there, and then somehow it will feed audio in and out through the internet and whatever data it can. So there's rooms that you can go. There you go, gateways. Thank you, Scott. But Yaesu's system is a closed system. It's not like DMR and a lot of the others that you can just hook up through the internet. It does use the internet, but it has to go through their system. So it's actually using Yaesu device to connect to a gateway. So thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. So it's a little different.
All right. Now I can't go into how to set up Pi-Stars and all those other things. So let's talk about the two modes that you can set up for yourself.
One more thing. If somebody hasn't set up a gateway, you may be able to get in through the Fusion system, but unless somebody's set up a gateway for that particular room, you will not be able to get into it. So that's the part of Yaesu having a closed system like they do. But thank you, Scott. Appreciate that.
For some reason, my space bar is not working to push the slides forward. Let's talk about the two types of nodes that you can set up. Because originally when it all came out, like Michael said earlier, you had to have the HRI 200. Let's talk about ways of having your own node and accessing this network without having to have the HRI 200. And those are portable digital nodes, or PDN node. There's portable digital node mode. That's capable of internet communication only with C4FM digital nodes in rooms. So that's what my node is, because I'm using the USB cable. A portable HRI mode, remember the HRI 200, is capable of internet communication with both C4FM digital and analog. And there's a reason, and you'll understand it real quick when you see the cabling, what's required to get analog, because you can't always get analog to go through the USB cables. That's all digital. So the portable digital node mode is, again, the same. It requires the digital radios. You have to have a radio it's capable of digital. There is a firmware update. I know the 400 required one, the 100 required one. And what's great about this, though, is all you need is your PC and a USB cable. And I'll show you the cables in a bit, too. So once you connect it in this mode, then you use the AB button, the A band, B band button, and you select access point, which is what I have here. So this FT2 is set to the frequency of my access point in the garage that I showed you earlier. Even though it has an HRI box, it would work the same. This one is set up as direct mode. USB cable. I'm direct with this radio into Wires-X. This is access point operation through another radio. So think of it as a hotspot access point. So what does that look like? So kind of what I'm explaining there. If you look on the left, you see the guy talking and receiving, okay? So the portable digital node station, direct operation, he is using one of those three radios, or she, and is connecting via that radio that's connected to the computer. So he's direct, and he gets on the internet and connects to all the other stations. Okay, so what about the, I keep losing my mouse because I keep grabbing the radio now, the HT.
About the same size.
Yeah, so the access point, now you see that same person there with the in and out audio, right? The three radios and then the radio on the right of it next to the laptop. But what the access point allows you to do is you can have a frequency and you can access it with another radio. And that radio that's connected to the computer acts as your hotspot to get away from the radio. Like with this one, with this FT5, I'm limited. I have to sit at the desk. I can't walk away from the computer and stay on it. If I set it up as an access point, I could walk away just like I do with the FT2, and I can access my access point radio connected to the computer to get on Wires-X. Those are your two options, direct and access point. So now the other mode is called portable HRI mode. This requires a Yaesu C4FM portable digital node capable transceiver, a USB cable connection, audio cable, and a PC with Wires-X software and internet connection. So
Good night, Jim.
Good night, Jim. The previous one, it just requires the USB cable. To do this, you have to have the audio cable. In the portable HRI mode configuration, either the access point operation or the direct operation may be activated. So again, you can do direct or access point. So there again, it's basically the same. All right. And then this one, he's connecting to, you can't use this radio. Oops, I'm on the wrong screen. You can't use these radios to talk, unlike the digital. But these now become hotspots for your radio that you want to roam around the house with or whatever. Access your local node, just like an HRI 200 might do with a radio, and get to the internet.
Take care, Chris. Have a good evening at work.
All right, take care. Now I can see the chat. Okay, so access point versus direct operation. Do you want a hotspot for nearby RF access? Then of course you want the access point. Or do you want to talk directly into Wires-X with the radio? Then you want direct operation. These are the cables you need for digital. The one on the left is the SCU55. Now confirm the number with your radio and the software you're using. Because if you have Windows 11, you can't use the previous USB cable. It requires a 55. So you'll notice here, right here, these usually come with the radios. But if you'll notice this right here, it's kind of a USB. I don't know what the plug is called. It goes into the radio. It looks like kind of like one of those micro HDMI type cables or something. It goes directly into the radio. And if you look at this one over here, the SCU20 or the SCU56 are for mobile radios with the DIN. Okay. The DIN slot is the mobile radios. This USB looking plug is the HTs. Now the SCU20 is, I believe, for like the 100s, the 400. It's the older, kind of the original group of Wires-X mobiles that came out. The SCU56 is going to be for your 200s, your 300s, your 500s, 510s, I believe. Again, always check to make sure you get the right cable for what you want to do. Now, this is just digital mode, and this is what it looks like. That is it. That is what I'm doing right now with my FT5. Right here. That's it. And the one on the bottom is what I'm doing for our club repeater. That's it. It's all digital. Simple. That's why most people use digital. So what about analog? Here's the difference. Look at all the added cables. Now, if you're going to get a kit that you think you might do analog, don't get the previous cables I told you if they don't come with it. Buy these kits, and then you get the cable and the analog cables too. You can do both. So that gives you the option. I've had these kits for a couple years. These audio cables have been sitting in a box since I purchased them. I've never pulled them out. I don't see the point.
Good night, Jimmy.
Good night, Jimmy. Thanks for coming. Bin plug right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird shaped one. It's got kind of a dip in it in the US, in the one that goes in the side. If you have a Yaesu HT, you can look in the side, you'll see it. It looks similar to like it's like those older what were they, mini DV recorders, the video plug that would plug into it, then your RCA plugs would go to the...
It's called a mini IO. It's similar to USB
okay.
mini, but it is not. It's actually has 11 pins.
Okay, thank you. I knew it was something else. It resembles kind of your basic USBs, but it definitely is different. Okay. So again, and for the mobile one, you see you've got the USB to DIN, and you've got a second audio, the 3.5 mil to DIN. Okay. So they're two separate things, mobile setup and HT setup, and just verify you get the right cable for your radio. If you don't want to do audio, don't spend the extra money and get this audio sets. Just use I believe it comes with the radios. It's the USB cable that comes with it.
I remember it coming with my 400. I don't believe I got it with my 500.
Yeah, maybe they don't come with them anymore. I can't remember. But here's the difference. You remember the digital one, right? That's not what I wanted. That's the wrong direction. So there's the digital, the single cable. Here's the analog. That's how you have to set them up. So all the audio goes in and out of the analog ports, the 3.5 millimeter ports. And then on the mobile, it looks like this right here. So again, it's an extra cable, but if that's what you want to do, if you want to do analog, go for it. But I guarantee if you start with digital, you'll never go analog.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard a single analog station on Fusion, on Wires-X rather.
Yeah.
So yeah, the audio cables are only if you need to access the analog. That's true. So we got a couple more questions here.
Okay, let's go through some questions while I set up the next screen.
Okay, bear with me, folks. I just did something weird. Okay, there we go. Pinned. So I apologize. I was trying to unstop. So is this Windows only? And was a question asked. And Sean, Ham Till Hurt says, yes, Windows only. Wires-X is Windows only.
Yes.
And EMAC had a good question, and I'm going to answer it, but I'm going to let the other people answer it. Is the audio quality as good as D-Star DMR, or is it better? And
I'll answer as well.
Chris says he feels it's better. Chris has actually left for work tonight. And we had another one that said, Hamtail Hurt says, I contend that Yaesu C4FM has the best audio quality of the big three. And I will say myself, D-Star's an older protocol, and it's a robust system. At one point, when Fusion first came on, or Wires-X came on, people are like, oh, emergency management will not be using that at all, ever. And I'm like, really? And then now emergency management agencies are using Fusion and D-Star and whatever they need to have. We need to have our skill sets for everything. So, but yes, go ahead with your side of it, Paul. Audio quality is it better?
So I have very little experience with DMR and near zero experience with D-Star because I haven't sat down and gotten D-Star going on my 705 or 73 or whatever yet. But over the, how long, when was that first Wires-X video I did? 8 years ago? I can't remember. Since I've been doing Wires-X, listening to people who've been D-Star all their life, done DMR all the time, I have consistently heard in this order, C4FM, the Yaesu C4FM is the better, DMR is very close, and D-Star is third. That's what I've heard from other people. Yeah. So I just assume that that's what it is.
I have a P25 radio, and sometimes I would say Yaesu is a little bit better than that sometimes. But I mean, I'm used to the P25 radio sound, so I guess it's what you're used to, what you expect. But as far as D-Star users, I've heard that Yaesu is just going to be so much better on the audio. We had one that said trying to connect to your node, getting canceled call and PDN standby. So when you try to pull up Paul's node, I believe the streaming one is the one that I just connected and disconnected from using my FT3DR during the stream. So Paul, do you understand what that means? Cancel call and PDN standby.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. The only time when I get an error of PDN, that means I've got the wrong, that usually means that I've got the wrong setting in my HT in this. It'll give me a PDN error. So are you set up with, which mode are you set in, the HRI or the PDN mode? Because you should be, is like this one is I believe this is HRI mode, not PDN mode with the digital USB cable. HRI mode, and then I've got direct. You hit the AB button. Can you see my screen? You hit the AB button, and you'll look at the top
it's
here.
Fading out. It's not staying.
And it switches frequency or access point and direct. I'm using direct mode. So if you got the same setup as me, HRI mode, direct should be all you need to get on. And it's in the back. It's behind 3 or 4 screens, so I have not been watching it.
So Hamnetics had a good thing here. He said at most Hamfest you can buy any of the cables cheaply from the hams who bought all the cables when they didn't need them. There you go.
I'm just going to look real quick here.
Colin was mentioning earlier, Colin and VK was mentioning earlier that they have a very robust Wires-X system, and it does quite well.
Okay.
Okay. We have somebody that's contradicting us. DMR is the worst. D-Star is the next worst. So I am set up for D-Star. I've never been on D-Star.
All right. I've disconnected my node just in case that's the issue. So now what I'm going to be doing basically is accessing, if anyone gets on and talks, I could talk with my access point. We're going to do that for now while I finish the last couple slides. Real quick, I'm going to go over kind of how you access nodes. And all of this, again, all the information I'm giving you is in the guide that I think I linked in the description. So actually, let me go here first. Does that pull up my PDF?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to follow the guide on the PDF. First thing you need to do is go to the Google Yaesu Wires-X registration, and you need to register with an email. It takes a week or more. They're going to give you a number, and you're registered. Then follow this guide to set up the software. Put in the numbers they give you. If you're going to do an access point, you need to put a frequency in. And you're going to get to all the information, what buttons to hold to do what mode for your radio. Like I said, they're all different. We're not going to talk about digital IDs, but this is what I want to talk about now. This is the FT2 screen. Unfortunately, I could not get my radio to work, to access it digitally to be able to change the room of my node, because I think I'm too close. I think my antennas are desensing. It happens a lot. I can't access the node and other people are able to access it. And I think it's because both my antennas are in the attic and my HT is spitting, the frequency out, the radio right next to it's hearing the frequency and this and that. So I'm going to show you on the screen what you do. Now this is just the FT2, and I think I'll show you the 400, but it's going to be a similar setup. If you're in digital mode, you're going to hit the DX or X button, you're going to hold it down for just a second or two and let it go. You'll see this flashing X, and it'll transmit. And if you're near the repeater that has the digital repeater set up, you'll hear a series of beeps, and it'll list the name of the repeater or the node that they've named it. All right. So once you've connected and you see the name of their node, you're in their node, and you can control their node. And the way you would search for other nodes or rooms is you click on search, and you can search all. This doesn't even show it. So you'll click search, and then you're gonna select all, and it'll list all of them. It'll access the repeater again. It'll hit the internet. It'll search, and it'll list all the nodes, and you can scroll down and find the nodes you want. This is a better screen here. The 400 is color, so it's a little bit easier. So here you're going to see this little X flashing. It's going to connect, give a series of beeps, and you're going to see the name of the node right here with an arrow down, and you can arrow down to get the options to search or to type in the name of the node you want or the number. The problem with that is you have to know the exact letter for letter node name. So my node name, if it's K5VOP, PrepAmp, you have to know the whole thing, and it has to be typed in exactly for it to find it. So that's why it's good to have your favorites and know the names or node numbers, and you can type them in. But that's it. So you hold the X or DX button down a couple seconds, let it go. It accesses it. It shows you the node number. You arrow down or hit it. Again, it depends on your radio, or you hit the search or all, and you can find the nodes you want. I like all, then I just scroll down and I find nodes, because most of the nodes I access are populated, and it lists them in highest population to lowest population. Like KC, Kansas City wide, is one that has a lot of people on it all the time.
A lot of nets.
Yeah, at the top, you're going to have the Japanese, the two Japanese. They've had to split so many times. There's Japanese node rooms that are on the top too, but you can scroll through. You'll see Italy, you'll see Brazil, you'll see, Ukraine, you'll see all of them.
By the way, with the Japanese calls, that's kind of fun because, Paul's also got a Japanese call sign, JR1 GPC. And I've talked to him through, not this radio, but my FT1D. And I can look down my radio and it says, it points the direction that he's at 6,000 some odd miles away. It's a lot of fun. Go digital, guys.
Yep. Digital's great. Shows you the GPS. So this slide just shows you the 5 ways to connect to a digital room or node. So it's searching from the node and room list, search the node ID or the room, select the node or the rooms registered in the category, connecting to the node or room you have most recently connected, or entering the DTMF ID number, 5 digits of the room or node. And one more slide. As I said earlier, if you look through the PDF, you'll see the meanings of all the icons. So if you run your own node and have the software up, you'll know what these icons all mean. And that's pretty much it. It's amazing the support I get. I love this community. I love joining other people's channels and supporting them as well. The YouTube community just keeps growing. So thanks, everybody.